Court is in session and we are recording. Calling case number 22-0771 SC, People versus Hunter William Locke Hughes. Appearances for the record.
Good afternoon, Judge. Molly Zapatel on behalf of the people.
Daniel Guerin for defendant.
Okay, today is the date and time set for an arraignment. Mr. Guerin, I don't know if I've gotten an appearance as of yet. It's my understanding you are retained counsel on this. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And I would assume you either fax that or are going to be faxing that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's already been done, but if it's not, it will be.
It just hasn't gotten to the file yet, so it's very possible. So, okay, Mr. Locke Hughes, can you state your name for the record?
My name is Hunter William Locke Hughes.
Mr. Locke Hughes, I am looking at a felony complaint and warrant that alleges on or about December 28th, 2021 in Clinton Township, Michigan, that you committed the offense of count 1, child abuse, first degree, that you did knowingly or intentionally cause serious physical harm to a child contrary to state statute. This is a felony punishable by up to life or any term of years. Count 2 alleges homicide, felony murder, that you did while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree, murder one Terrence Adams, contrary to state statute. This is a felony punishable by life without parole. Do you understand the charges against you?
Yes, sir.
Can you speak up a little bit just so we are recording this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have certain constitutional rights. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the right to a court-appointed attorney. For record's sake, I do recognize that you are represented today by Mr. Guerin as retained to counsel for this. You have the right to remain silent and not to have that silence used against you. You have the right to a trial, either by judge or jury. Finally, and most importantly, you have the right to be presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, sir.
Since this is a felony level charge, you also have a couple of statutory rights. You have the right to a probable cause conference within 14 days of today's date and a preliminary exam within 21 days of today's date within 7 days of that probable cause conference. At that preliminary exam, the prosecutor must prove probable cause that a crime's been committed as well as probable cause that you may have committed that crime. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. As stated, I do recognize for the record that Mr. Guerin is retained on this. I'm going to set this matter for a probable cause conference as well as preliminary exam within the statutory time periods. Mr. Guerin, what's your P number? And I'll just enter it in the system now.
42261.
42261?
Yes, sir.
As far as bond, Ms. Zapatel, what would you like me to know?
Judge, thank you. In regards to bond, Your Honor, we're asking that pursuant to Michigan Court Rule 6.106, that the defendant be held without bond pending pretrial based on the nature of the underlying offense, which is homicide. Judge, if you're not inclined to hold him without bond, we're asking pursuant to subsection E that the defendant have a cash-only bond in the amount of $500,000 for the protection of society and also to ensure his appearance at subsequent proceedings. We're asking that in the event he's able to post the $500,000 cash, we're asked that he be released on a steel cuff tether. Obviously, no contact with any witnesses to this case, cannot leave the state, no drugs or alcohol, including marijuana. And if you'd like to know the rationale, the defendant is alleged to have held a 6-year-old disabled child under the water, which caused the drowning, which is the causation of death. And based on the nature of the offense, I think the holding without bond is necessary in this particular case.
Mr. Guerin?
And I respectfully disagree. Defendant enjoys the presumption of innocence, of course. has absolutely no prior record of any nature whatsoever. I understand there's strong family support. And although I appreciate the nature of the charges, I think a cash surety bond in the amount of $50,000, 10% would be appropriate. We of course have no objection to others, no contact with the witnesses.
I do think we should be at least setting a bond. I am going to set the bond actually in $1 million, cash surety only. If bond is posted, I am going to require house arrest, GPS tether, only to leave the house to meet with attorneys or court. Obviously, you're not to have any contact with any sort of witnesses or anyone else involved in this case. Do you understand that, Mr. Locke-Hughes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, counsel, have I forgotten anything?
Would the court consider referral to community corrections for bond
I have-
recommendation?
I have no objection to that. We'll refer to community corrections, and hopefully they can get us a report by the probable cause conference, and bond could always be revisited at that time.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Do you happen to know the date for the PCC? Is that on here? Probable cause conference will be April 19th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, sir.